All right, my friends, in this video, I'm gonna compare the 5 most popular milk frothers on Amazon. I'm doing this video because I did a little bit of research myself and I couldn't find a video that really gave me an idea of what is the difference between all of these frothers. How do they work? Which one am I gonna like the most? So I've picked a wide range of value, price, durability. I'm gonna talk through each one of these. I'm gonna score them. At the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you my #1 pick. I'm also gonna tell you my budget pick. Let's talk about the contenders. First is this one, the Dwo. This is like our economy model. Second is the Zulay. This is the most popular milk frother on Amazon. We have the Maery house. This has some really cool accessories and some things you absolutely need to know about it before you buy it. This one is the FoodVille. Lots of things that I love about this. One particular thing that I don't love about this that you're gonna wanna make sure you understand. And then finally, the Rolls Royce, the upperclassman's milk frother, which is the Subminimal. So the categories that we are talking about with each of these frothers are setting, speed, and button. We're talking about batteries, disposable or rechargeable, charging ports, all of that sort of stuff. Waterproof. Obviously, these are kitchen appliances that we're using inside liquid, and we should be asking ourselves, what happens when it gets hit by some water? Accessories, and then the price, ultimately how it falls within relative to each other. Let's get into it. We're gonna bring in the Dwo. And I'm pretty sure that I'm saying that exactly right. So this is the most affordable, the cheapest, however you wanna say it, on Amazon. And as you can tell, as soon as you open it up, the feel in your hand, it is plastic. I've got this thing loaded up with batteries already. The battery door just looks like that. And it's 2 AA batteries that you pop in there. Once the batteries get in there, it does give it a little bit more weight to it, so it feels like you're actually holding on to something. Pretty standard metal shaft down into a single whisk on the bottom. Now we'll talk about the difference between single whisk and double whisk. Like our friend over here, FoodVille, has the double whisk. We'll talk about that difference when I get there. And then it has just that single setting, single button on the top. So when you push the button on this is what's unique about some of these lower level frothers, is that they only are on when you're pushing the button. I don't know if you like that or not. Obviously, I could tell, like, if it could be a safety feature. If you're frothing this thing and you accidentally let go of the handle, it might be nice that it turns off, because then you don't have milk or hot chocolate everywhere in the kitchen. I actually prefer to not have this style of button. I prefer to have a button that just pushes and it turns on. That way I don't have to hold my hand in one position for a while, especially if I'm like whipping some cream or something with this thing. It could take a little bit longer. I don't wanna have to do that. I have a little cup of water here. I just wanna show you how it works, how the button works. As we put it in, you can see the difference. We're doing it with water so that you can really see how it agitates it. If it were milk, I don't think it would be as apparent. So what we're looking for, the other thing is it's single setting. So it's one speed, that's all you have with the Dwo. And we'll take a look at how it works here. So pretty good. You can see it agitates it. There's a bit of a wobble in the shaft, like meaning it's not straight down. It kind of moves side to side a bit. It vibrates my hand quite a bit. That's the Dwo. How does it score up? For setting, speed, and button, I'm giving it a 0. There's only one setting. It only operates when I'm holding the button. On batteries, 0. I give it a 0 because I don't want disposable batteries. I want rechargeable batteries. And then waterproof, it does not advertise that it's waterproof at all. I think if this thing gets wet, it's probably gonna break. And then accessories. Doesn't come with any accessories, so I give it a 0. Price is where it redeems itself. I'm giving it 1.5 points for price because this is the best priced frother that we have on the table right now. Moving on to the Zulay. Again, I'm gonna remind you, the Zulay is the most popular frother that sells on Amazon right now. There are some similarities to the Dwo. One thing that is different is the feel. This is still plastic, but it has much more of that like grippy feel to it rather than just the straight shiny plastic. It also has some finger grooves there so it can feel a little bit more comfortable in the hand. And then the button, once again, it's the same style of button. When you push it, it's on. As soon as you let go, it's off. Same style of battery compartment there. You can see that just opens up like that. And it's not a detachable wand. The wand feels about the same as the Dwo. However, I will say, when I turn it on, it does not have that wobble. It feels really centered and it's not vibrating my hand like crazy like the Dwo was. So let's just put it in water, see how it rolls. About the same, but you can see the agitation. One thing to pay attention to, these wands that do not have variable speed. If I was mixing hot chocolate, I would probably have my liquid a lot closer to the top of the cup. That's gonna be a problem if you drop this thing in there and start mixing it like this and getting down into the corners, it's gonna spill up over the edge. So that's something you wanna consider when you think about buying one that doesn't have variable speed. So how does the Zulay match up in the scoring system? Well, let's take a look. So settings, speed, and button, I give it a 0. It's the same features of the Dwo. Batteries, again, disposable batteries, it's a 0 for me. Waterproof, no mention of it being waterproof, no mention of a waterproof rating, it's a 0 for me. Accessories and whisk, same sort of thing, it's only this, not detachable for cleaning, any of that sort of stuff. I haven't talked about cleaning yet. That's something that's really helpful, is when this whisk can detach for cleaning. I'm giving it a 0 on accessories, and price, I'm giving it a 1. So that's my rating overall on the Zulay. It gets a 1. All right, Maery House. This is a rechargeable unit. It has the highest waterproof rating of any of these frothers that we have in front of you right now. When it comes in the package, it comes with the whisker detached, but it's a little bit tight. You can hear that. That is like a super duper duper seal. Now it only comes with one whisk. I will tell you right now, the sturdiness of this whisk, the shaft, and the double whisking already makes it a better option for me than these other two that we've looked at so far. Also, I'm really impressed with how it attaches to the actual handle unit. You gotta push really hard. It gives a really good seal and it's very, very sturdy. And I'm really impressed with the sturdiness of the double whisk here. Now, this Maery only has one speed, one single button, but when you push it, it's on, and it's on until you push it again. The button feels really, really sturdy. And up here on the top, we have a waterproof seal door that has a little leash so you won't lose the door, and the seal's really good, and that's where the USB-C charger is charged. Now, they advertise on the box that you get 60 days of charge out of this or something like that. I don't know how they measure that. The casing is plastic until you get down here. This is metal, the shaft is metal. Let's just see how this thing works. One speed, that's all you got on this one. And it's pretty powerful. I mean, that double whisk already, I can tell, agitates it a bit more than the single whisks. My scoring for the Maery. Settings, speed, and button is a 0. It's only one setting. However, I do like the button. Maybe we'll get it a half point. We're gonna give it a half point for the single touch button to turn on and single touch to turn off, but no multiple speed. Batteries, I'm giving it a point because it's rechargeable. And I love that. I don't have to go hunt for batteries. I don't have to switch out the batteries. I don't have to worry about any of that. It's waterproof. A rating of IP6. I think it could get splashed by a good amount of water and be just fine. That's important to me as I'm thinking about something that I'm mixing fluids with or that I'm gonna wash. Accessories, the fact that I can detach this, even though it is a little bit challenging, and go wash just that is a big deal for me. And price, I think for what it is and for how long I think it's gonna last compared to some of these other ones, I think it's a great price as well. I'm really impressed with this unit. Next, we have the FoodVille. I think this one gets an award for the worst name, maybe. I really like the FoodVille Frother. And there's one thing about the FoodVille Frother that really makes me It irks me, if I'm being honest. Same sort of build as the Maery, I think, it's a good substantial handle. The handle is, and the unit as a whole is plastic, and then it gets to be metal down here. It does have the detachable whisk, and it does have the double whisk. And it is easier to change out. However, to me, it feels like it could break a little bit easier than the Maery house. The shaft, super heavy duty, no play in it, very, very balanced. Now, here's what I absolutely love about this one. It's a variable speed. So you have the high, you have the medium, and you have the low speed whisking. Now, at first glance, could seem gimmicky. It is not gimmicky at all, at least from my experience. Now, when I've got a full glass of hot chocolate and I want to mix that hot chocolate for my kids, that low setting is perfect. Then I don't spill it all over the place. But when I've got a small amount of milk that I'm looking to froth and I really want to get it airy, I can turn that speed up and go a little bit more wild with it, right? So I just showed you those 3 speeds. I think that's incredibly helpful and impressive. Now, what is the one flaw of the FoodVille besides its name? Is the charging port. The charging port is a micro USB. Most things are USB-C now. I don't know about you, but most charging cords that I have around the house, USB-C. This just seems like it's out of place for a small accessory like this and what's most common now. Let's talk about scores for FoodVille. FoodVille, settings, speed, and button. It's the only one that gets my point for settings, speeds, and button because of the variable speed. I think it's a meaningful feature to this thing. Batteries, they are rechargeable, but because of the charging port, I'm only giving it a half point. Waterproof, I'm giving it a 1. It's got a somewhat lower waterproof rating than the Maery house, so it could stand a splash or 2 of water, but you definitely do not want to submerge this thing, especially as you look at that open charging port. You know that's not going to do well if it was submerged or even run under the faucet. Accessories, we didn't even talk about the accessories. We did talk about the detachable whisk. It also comes with this beater right here. You could use for a small amount of scrambled eggs or something like that. I think that's interesting. I don't know if I'd use it, but there it is. And then it also, of course, comes with the charging cord in case you don't have any micro USBs anywhere around the house. Accessories, I give it a point. Price, I definitely give it a point. It's very affordable for what it is, and I think it's gonna last a good amount of time. All right, my friends, now buckle up, because now we're really going to explore the Rolls Royce of milk frothers. Just let the price be the indicator that this thing is heads above all of these options, double or more. This, my friends, is a Subminimal. It comes with this protective case that goes over the frother. It is a plastic encasing. To put the batteries in, you just basically pull it apart like that. The batteries sit in there, and then you push it back together. It does take a little bit of a push. You want to make sure you get that seal so that there's not water and liquid getting down into the batteries. The waterproof rating on this one is lacking. It could stand a splash or 2, but you definitely wouldn't want to put it under the faucet or submerge it. That's going to have some issues. The handle is a little awkward, I'm gonna be honest, like the shape of the handle. I don't know, I don't quite know how to hold on to this thing. That's a minor thing, but still important. The shaft here is very thick and very substantial. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it with that camera, but there's a little space between this and that where there's just a little joint. I don't know if that's gonna be a weak spot or not. Now, let's get down to why they can charge what they charge for this thing is because it's incredibly different than any of these other frothers. And it's called the Nano Screen. Now, this frother comes with 2 screen attachments. One is very, very fine. They both look fine to me, but you can definitely, when you hold them side to side, and I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up or not, but when you hold them side to side, you can see that one screen is finer than the other. So this is the fine one, this is the more gappy one. This relates to the smoothness of the air that gets incorporated into whatever it is that you're frothing. This is definitely kind of a coffee snob sort of thing. You put one of those screens on the bottom of this kind of fan looking end here. By the way, these are all the attachments that come with it. And then it's a single press button, so it does stay on while you're mixing. So as I put it in the water here, we just take a look. It's quite aggressive. I don't think anything made the water go that high on the glass. This right here is the thicker screen. Let's take a look at the finer screen and see if that makes any difference in the water. Again, just pretty aggressive. Definitely the most aggressive one that we've tested so far. So let's test it without any screen. I think this will be interesting as well. It does still have that agitator, that fan. It's just not pushing the milk or the liquid down through the screen. And it's the same amount of agitation inside the liquid. So again, I talked about this protective thing. Now you have a little screen to keep track of. When it comes in the box, the extra screen just comes down inside that thing. Now here's what's quirky about that, is that another accessory that comes with it is the wall mount. The wall mount has a little command strip on the back, and you could stick it to something in your kitchen. I'm not wild about the idea about putting adhesive on the surfaces on my kitchen, but I could probably find one that works for me. When I put it on this mount, there's nowhere for the accessories to go. So these are now just loose accessories somewhere in my kitchen that I will probably lose. Here's how I scored. Settings, speed, and button. I gave it a point because it has that single press button. Batteries, again, I'm not into the disposal batteries. By the way, each one of these I think have rechargeable options, or most of them have rechargeable options for if you spend a little bit more money. But for the demonstration of the base model of each of these, that's what I wanted to show. Waterproof is like, meh. So I gave it 0.5 on the waterproofing. And then accessories. I get that it comes with accessories. I don't get the accessories. I don't think they're gonna be helpful for my life and for the way that I involve or the way that I interact with my frother. And I think it's gonna be a lot of loose pieces that are ultimately gonna get lost. So I gave it a 0 on accessories. Even though it does come with them, I don't think they're helpful. And then price. I gave it a big whopping 0. I can't imagine why you would need to spend the amount of money that this thing costs for frothing some milk. Now, I did add one bonus criteria to this: pretentiousness. I'm giving it a point for its pretentiousness. So let's review. I've got my total scoring card here. The Dwo, I gave it 1.5 points. Even on the economic scale, I wouldn't choose this one. What I would choose if I was going economic is I would choose the Zulay. I think it feels a little bit better built. I like the background and the company that makes it. And ultimately, I gave the Zulay 1 point. So that's interesting that I gave this one more points, but I think I would still choose this one if I was going economic. The Maery, 4.5, in a tie with the FoodVille. Both of these I rated 4.5 points. The redeeming factor for this one is the multiple speed settings. The redeeming factor for this one is the USB-C and the waterproofing. So those both got 4.5 points. And then the Subminimal, I gave 2.5 points with that, extra pretentious category. All right, my friends, those are the milk frothers that I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear in the comments which one you would choose. Where did I get it wrong? Where did I get it wrong? Right? Where did I get it right? Which ones do you have? Which ones are you gonna buy? By the way, links to buy all of these are in the description of the video. That's helpful, and have fun frothing.